I'm going to just finish out my two other quick ideas to get in for ranting out, and that just comes back to sports and school. So this kind of just gets all our topics on the table. In the world of sports, I don't talk about sports too often. Those who know me well enough, know that the only sport I really follow is the PGA because I like golf. I do. Whatever. We'll get into that, and it's got its issues. We're dealing with that right now. Some rude people that are focused on money. I hate capitalism like every good person should. And so that stuff is pretty clear for what it is. But I want to just take a moment to do a little acknowledgement of some ongoings in the NFL as it is. I was someone who was really conflicted around the Super Bowl, and personally, I did not want to watch. My partner, however, did make the decision that he wanted to have it on, and so it was like, okay, it's fine, it's going to happen. But I am someone who's really in support of Brian Flores and his suit against the NFL right now, because it is an institution that, for in my 2 cents, in my experience, has just been like far too long able to profit off of systemic racism, and so I think it's about time that either the whole thing come a tumbling down, or some fundamental change comes about in it. I mean, personally, I'm okay with just football going away. Let's stick to, real football. Yeah, I mean real football, because our football is the football that they call American football. So it's clearly not the real one by the global majority's preference. Just my 2 cents. But that's my sports rant. NFL, you racist. Deal with it. When it comes to schools, I really don't know where to begin, other than, again, to be grateful to acknowledge where I have this privilege to do my work as a private teacher remotely. My one main employer outside of my church job and doing my independent work has been a fantastic organization called Mainstay Academics, which allows me to do independent tutoring, building my own curriculums, and helping students get through their middle school and high school programming, as well as just providing voice lessons for those that are doing vocal studies. So props to Mainstay Academics. Um, I don't know if I could ever be a teacher in an actual school anymore, ever again at this point, because I just have way too much fear of what any of that is going to be like in the next 6 months to like 3 to 5 years, even, with all of the different restrictions coming into place in all kinds of places in every state, even in parts of California, with what materials are allowed to be taught, are allowed to even be discussed. It's blowing my mind. And, I've told this before, I've talked about this in here before, but I don't mind bringing it up again because it's this weird, like, I feel like I got a sign in my own path the years back. Teaching a summer camp at local theater company, where the theme was Hamilton the musical, and it was happening the week leading into the 4th of July. And to be the arts educator that I like to be, I decided to incorporate the teaching of our national anthem into the lesson. This was in 2019. I ultimately had to remove the national anthem from my lesson midweek and was not allowed to even include it in the final performance, let alone in the classroom, because a few parents were uncomfortable with one of the verses of the national anthem that acknowledges slaves in America's past. Because a verse acknowledges slaves, a verse that most people don't learn, because most people don't learn multiple verses of the national anthem, even though they exist. This is why it was an education lesson. I had to remove the whole thing, and it left most of my students feeling like they did something wrong, which was just devastating. And that was in 2019. I felt like I had to deal with the same kind of malarkey going on right now, before it really caught fire. And I just can't imagine what it's like now that there are so many states that have actually passed bills restricting material, other places where they're trying to say that educators are going to have to provide syllabus and lesson plans for the full year in advance to the year starting, so that parents can choose to opt out of things. Even the idea that out of like Black History Month lessons and things like people can opt out if it's making them too uncomfortable. What's been uncomfortable? Being not of the white majority and living in this country, existing. And it's uncomfortable every day. And it's uncomfortable learning about everything every day that just continues to promote this great white standardized majority that is the foundation of America. I can't imagine what it's like right now being an educator in these different institutions. And by golly, I don't know where it's all heading.